All right. I have 6 o'clock on the cell phone here. I'm filling in for Mayor March tonight. So I will open the meeting here with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Donna, if you would call the roll, please.
Marevka? Here. Jones?
Here.
Sluse?
Here.
Parker?
Here.
Ham?
Here.
Bowden?
Here. Okay, in our packets, we had the meeting minutes from March 22nd, regular board meeting. Is there any corrections or questions? Or if not, I'll take a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Jones, second by Mr. Marevka.
Jones?
Yep.
Marevka?
Yes.
Sluse?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Ham?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Okay, in your pack we also have our bills payable and payroll. And the totals. Any questions on any of the bills?
Oh, you got one?
I got one, thank you. If there are no questions, let's see, the payroll ending March 20th for $48,270.94. The other payroll ending April 3rd for $47,542.05. From in our accounts payable, from the general fund, the total is $40,215.48. And a business development district fund of $18,689.45. So the total of that for accounts payable, $58,904.93. So if there are no questions for any of those bills, I'll take a motion for approval for payment.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by trustee Parker, second by trustee C.
Parker?
Yes.
Sluse?
Yes.
Marevka?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Ham?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Okay, moving on, we come to public comment. Looks like we have some of the public here. Is there any comments?
Okay, make sure that they sign the sheet.
Hi,
Okay.
my name's Larry Kearney. I live on Corning Road. I actually spoke in the last meeting in regards to annexations, and I saw that this was on the topic again for tonight's agenda. So I just wanted to reiterate the feelings of the affected homeowners, possibly affected homeowners, especially since there was a newly elected board member. So although my property is not one of the 3 mentioned in the original legal notice in the Vedette for annexation, I know there's been talk of more than these being annexed. I would like to address specifically the talks of annexing the residents on Corning Road. Like I stated last time, many of these homes are farmhouses that were there way before any subdivisions were there. And most of these residents in these properties have been there for decades and are aging and living on fixed incomes. Also, these properties are between 1 and 2 acres, which is not the same as a city lot. So if they were annexed, they'd be taxed at an even higher rate than a normal city lot, which would not be fair. Typically, annexation should happen to benefit the homeowner and the village. And in this case, of the Corning Road residents, it's only a benefit to the village. There's no benefits to speak of for the people on Corning Road that this would affect. Basically, in closing, I'm just asking that you consider not annexing any of the residents on Corning and consider those properties as a separate case from the other ones that have been talked about on Route 50 and other locations. That's it. Thanks for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Chairman.
you.
If anybody's going to be speaking, could you please sign in if you haven't already?
Anybody else? Okay. Aqua? Is it Angie?
ENG.
Angie, are you on the line?
Yeah, I am. Both Tracy and I are on.
Okay, can you fill us in for an Aqua update?
Sure. Hi, everybody. This is Tracy.
Hi Tracy, this is Kent filling in for Mayor March.
Okay, great. Everybody can hear me okay, I'm assuming. We are finishing up the Corning Avenue project. All of the main is installed. Services have all been tapped and ran. The final restoration would be the paving, the milling and the paving. That is scheduled to take place potentially starting next week. We are also going to be doing the paving on the urban section for the large diameter transmission main. And they will likely do the Howard Street area first. So you will be seeing that starting next week. We did, I guess moving on from project update, we did receive comments back from the EPA on the corrosion control treatment study. We are currently in the process of formulating our response, and we will let you know once that response gets submitted.
Okay. If that's all, any questions from the board for Aqua? Doesn't look like there are any questions. Thank you for the update, we appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
If that's it for public comment. Reports of committees, sounds like we're gonna hear from the engineer tonight. Troy?
Yep, the storm sewer project on South Street and Second Street in that area, has started last week. They had some trouble finding the big existing storm sewer out there, but once they found it, they should be moving along, pretty quickly. They're gonna be back out there tomorrow, they're letting it dry up today, so that project's gonna be moving, hopefully it'll only take a week or so, they said remaining.
Great.
For the Corning resurfacing project, there were a list of repairs that need to be made. Almost all the returns have issues, so we're working on the list with Public Works and the village, and we'll be getting that list to Iroquois Paving. So I think like Aqua said, that they're gonna start on that likely maybe mid next week, and start on Meyer, Glen, and Howard area for the water main on Monday is their plan. And for the West Street resurfacing project, that's still on the IDOT bid opening on April 23rd. So that should be happening this summer as well.
Okay.
That's everything.
Can you give us an update on I-57?
I-57, yes. We did get a good letter from IDOT that it's pretty much the final step until you get the permit approval. So they had, two really minor little comments on the plans, and then all their, special provisions and check sheets that we need to submit along with bond, the contractor will just submit. So we're to the point where we can go out to bid, and then the permit will be finalized once the contractor's selected. But there's still, just the issue of getting the land finalized and a couple other things, but we're really close as far as IDOT's concerned now.
What do you mean land finalized, like what specifically, like?
The land acquisitions.
Right of ways and stuff?
Yeah. For 88th Avenue.
Okay, that's good news. Is that all you got? Great, appreciate that. Moving on, I don't see anything under old business. Under new business, we have an approval of the 2021-2022 working budget.
I can, need to just.
Sure.
That just got missed last week, just a technicality, what we're doing tonight, approving it. You went over it, you basically were in favor of it, but we just did not actually take the motion and vote on it last time. It was a little hectic.
I'll take a motion now if anyone.
Second.
Motion by trustee Maravka, second by trustee Sluse.
Marevka?
Yes.
Sluse?
Yes.
Jones?
Yep.
Parker?
Yes.
Ham?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Okay, item B is a special event and amplifier permit for August 14th, 2011, or 2021, for Catherine Fry and Trevor Men. Is anyone present for them?
I would guess.
Do you,
It's for our wedding. We're planning on getting married in our backyard. So we needed to get the permit for a DJ. It's gonna be, I mean, under 100 people, if that many people come, but yeah, that's all.
okay. Any questions for them? No? Congratulations.
Thanks.
Take a motion to approve the permit for amplifier.
I'll motion it.
Second.
Motion by trustee Maravka, second by trustee Jones.
Marevka?
Yes.
Jones?
Yep.
Sluse?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Ham?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Okay, the next agenda item is a special event for Folks on Spokes, so June 6, 2021. Anyone from this group in your organization tonight? No? Okay.
There's a letter attached to,
Oh yeah, probably did. Huh?
and explains they're just gonna be pedaling through. a
Okay,
list.
I could read that quickly. Looks like they're gonna be hosting a biking event, cycling event from the Moni Reservoir down through Peatone, starting at 7 a.m. They're gonna ride at different speeds at different times. Coming through Peatone, there'll be multiple riders, but only one, two, or three together at a time. There's no scheduled stops in Peatone. The riders will be just riding through. The event ends at 4 p.m. and the attendance will vary on the weather, she says. If it's raining, it'll be no show. If it's windy, they'll have a few riders, and if it's nice, they expect up to 150 to show. So I think y'all had the map in your packets. Look for a motion to pass the special event for the bike event.
Motion. Second.
Motion by trustee Sluse and second by trustee Maravka.
Sluse?
Yes.
Marevka?
Yes.
Jones?
Yep.
Parker?
Yes.
Ham?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Item D, a presentation and motion to approve the Peatone Priorities Plan Report. That would be the CMAP.
Right. And they're they'll be on the screen shortly, I'm sure.
Okay.
There's Enrique.
Hey everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Uh-oh.
I have a presentation. Can everybody see it?
Not yet, if you
When,
can-
when I get connected to the internet and the Wi-Fi in this room, so just give me 1 second. It keeps going in and out, but I'll let you know. Okay, you're visible. And I'm gonna turn my camera off so you don't have to see me. Uh-oh. Are you there, Enrique?
Sounds like it's like cutting you out.
It did this to us. I can't control anything because
Amy, can you hear me?
I can hear you
Okay.
now.
Now we can.
Sorry.
I'm gonna turn my camera back on. Can't hear you.
Are we good to go now?
Oh, okay. All right, we can hear
Really?
you. Mhm.
Okay, perfect. Looks like there's a little bit of a delay, but we can work with that.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Perfect. I am sharing my screen. Can you guys see the presentation over there?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's get started. I know that we're blue a full agenda tonight, but when did you?
Oh, we'll have to read it,
I'll have to read that.
maybe.
I didn't print that one.
Amy, can you hear me?
Now we can.
Now I can,
Okay.
but I think you were talking for a little while and we couldn't. I saw your mouth move.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of getting some feedback with the delay. Do you want me to call in instead? Would that be helpful?
I think it would be better.
Yeah, you want to call my cell phone?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Can you just give me your number?
Sure. I
Um,
don't really know it though.
And I'll call in as well. This is Penny. I could call in as well.
It's 779-243-8637.
It's 8637.
Yes.
okay, we'll be calling it in here shortly.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
You want to wait on the call or? Okay, we'll move on. All right. Well, we'll skip ahead to the next item, item E. That's fine. You guys want to go, you don't have to stick around the whole meeting. It's gonna be a long meeting.
Hi.
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. Was Patty able to patch through as well?
Are you there, Patty?
No, it says, can you give me the number again? Because it says when I'm calling it, I'm not able to get through.
Oh, it's 779-243-8637. 8637.
8637, I'll try one more.
Enrique, you want me to stop the Teams meeting? Or you want-
Do you want to have the presentation up while I talk?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Patty's trying to call in, but I'll try to answer it. Okay. Hi, Patty.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Uh-oh. She's coming through the TV.
Can you hear me now?
Yes?
Okay, I'm on the phone now.
Okay.
Okay, I'll mute myself for now.
Okay. All right, Enrique, we're ready.
Awesome. Okay, I apologize for that. Again, I know that you're pressed for time today, so we'll go over the presentation, but we wanted to report back today the overall recommendations and the process as to how we got to the recommendations. So I'm Enrique Castillo. I'm with CMAP, the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, and I have Patty on the line as well. So we are the NPO for the Northeastern Illinois region. So we serve the 7 counties that touch Cook County, and I'm part of actually the local technical assistance program, our task is to help the municipalities and communities within the region achieve our Onto 2050 regional plan that we have created, which we actually launched in October a few years ago. So we're on our new regional comprehensive plan that is trying to align everyone in the region. I want to talk a little bit about the purpose of the priorities report. One of the things that we wanted was to assist Peatone with any future planning endeavors. So what we wanted to do was look at what had been done in the community. We wanted to reach out to the community and talk to them about issues and opportunities. What are the strengths of the community as Peatone moves forward with future planning endeavors. So our role really was to facilitate that discussion, right? And based on that discussion, based on the research, put together a few recommendations that would help align Peatone with those future planning endeavors.
Okay.
We actually also put together a steering committee that helped us, guide the work that we were doing. We put a group together of 4 to 5 members, and along with Amy and the mayor, we really utilized this group for reviewing the deliverables and more than anything getting the word out about the report that we were doing in order for us to get the right information that we were requesting, from the community. So this process that we did it within the last 12 months. I do apologize. In a world without COVID, we would have been doing this presentation in person, but we are still not allowed to work in the communities yet as an agency. So this was one of the few reports that we did virtually, pretty much the whole thing. So we learned along the way some errors, but this was the process. We did a kickoff. And we did the kickoff with the steering committee, the mayor, Amy was there, and we talked about the work of scope and what this report was going to be doing. We then put together an existing conditions report. We reported back to the steering committee those findings and also conducted our outreach. From that information, we put together the recommendations and we drafted the final report and now presenting to you all. So in that process, there were 3 deliverables: the outreach summary, the recommendations, and now the draft, the final draft of the report. One of the things I also want to touch on is the outreach and engagement activities that we did. We did a little over 24 interviews with village staff, residents, and business owners. These interviews were confidential and anonymous, but we wanted to make sure that we leaned on the mayor, Amy, and also the steering committee. I think we also reached out to the board to see If there was anybody we were missing from the list of stakeholders we wanted to interview. We also put together an online survey that was live for 14 days. We had 184 responses, and the mayor played a really key role here and used Facebook to promote this online survey. We also promoted it on our website, and people blasted it within each other once they took it. So we had a really great response, and again, this was also confidential and anonymous. So based off of the work that we did here in the community, right, the recommendations were developed through conversations with the village officials, the steering committee, residents. We also conducted a SLIM existing conditions report of the community to further explore the demographics of the community, its strengths. And we came out with these recommendations. Our primary recommendation was for Peatone to embark in a downtown plan. And in the downtown plan, there's multiple key functions, right? There's different topics that you can include in a downtown plan, but there was 3 main keys that we wanted Peatone to really consider once there was a downtown plan being conducted. First, we really recommend that within the downtown plan that there's a market analysis, that the community looks into branding and wayfinding, and then also consider historic preservation as they do the research for a downtown plan. That was the primary recommendation, and then we also came up with a secondary set of recommendations, and these came up based on the conversations that we were having and the need to include them as well. One being capacity building, building the capacity of the community and the village, and then funding opportunities for any kind of future planning projects that the village is considering, and then pursue sustainable growth in stormwater management and flood mitigation. So, as I said, the downtown plan is the primary recommendation. Downtown is the anchor of the community. We saw that, as a community, you could unify a vision for what that could look like for the village. Based on the data that we saw, based on the conversations that we had, the community really wanted to hone this downtown as a strength and the heart of the community and bring in amenities that are missing. There's vacant building and retail space that could be utilized. And again, based on the conversations that we had, there was really just a strong need to really renovate the downtown and just bring those amenities that are missing. In order to help with that, the market analysis, which is what we're recommending, is key because you'll be able to fill in the gap, right, and understand what types of businesses and necessities, amenities will thrive in your downtown. And, it even looks at the market around the community, other neighboring villages and cities, so that whatever goes down in the downtown does thrive. And more than anything, it gives you the opportunity to make sure that you utilize the space well. Historic preservation came up quite a bit. It seems like the community just really has a passion for preserving its cultural fabric as far as architecture goes. So what we're recommending is just to take into consideration that there's historic tax credits that could be utilized in conjunction with the downtown plan. But more than anything, I know that there was already some work done to do an inventory of historic buildings. So again, utilizing work that has already been done and combining it with a downtown plan really benefits the community, and seeing if they can unlock some of these tax credits, or again, just understanding how you could use your TIF to also help with some of the preservation of these buildings. And then the last under the primary recommendation is to create a consistent branding and wayfinding. We found out that the community really would like a unified vision as far as Peatone goes, the branding, and you can utilize the branding to really activate this downtown area and have a consistent message all across the board. And another thing that we found too is the wayfinding can help also navigate the traffic from some of these main corridors or roads to the downtown area as well. So that was the primary recommendation. I'm actually going to pass it over to Patty to talk a little bit more about the secondary recommendations.
Just do them one at a time.
Thank you, Enrique, and thank you, everybody. I will now talk about the secondary recommendations. Let me just mute my computer so you don't hear some reverb. So, excuse me, Enrique talked about the primary recommendations. And then in addition to the downtown plan, there's some also additional recommendations that can be done more in the short term. So the following recommendations provide actions the community can pursue. So that would be community building community capacity building, funding opportunities, and pursue sustainable growth and stormwater management flood mitigation. Next slide, please. Community capacity building means increasing and strengthening the relationship and interactions between Peatone community and public officials. It is important to recognize that the mayor has already undertaken several activities that have led to positive improvements. And I would just like to take this time, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah,
Yes?
Can you guys hear it?
Great. Okay.
a little quieter than Enrique, but
I'll talk a little bit louder.
there you go.
And then next slide, please.
Much better, thank you.
So next slide. So some strategies include create an up-to-date listing of businesses and institutions to establish a knowledge base of current capacities and expertise inside your community. Host additional community events such as block parties and street fairs to help residents feel more integrated within and with the village. Host a website for the Peatone Priorities Report so community members can read it and stay updated on its progress, be connected, and be related and be interactive with the future endeavors. Create a downtown plan task force to promote the planning process of the downtown plan and get the residents excited about it and knowledgeable of it. Next slide, please, Enrique. In order to implement projects and improvements, Peatone can position itself to identify priority projects and apply for appropriate funding opportunities. Next slide, Enrique. Actions under this recommendation include subscribe to CMAP's weekly updates, which provides timely and pertinent information about funding activities. Maximize the relationship with the Will County Governmental League, which provides information and guidance on grant applications and serves as a resource for training and legislative and municipal information. Develop a program list and project summaries for your identified priority projects. Work with regional partners to investigate region-wide issues such as truck routing and community studies, local traffic truck congestion, and such studies will examine the impact of trucks and recommend alleviation and mitigation strategies for specific communities. Additional steps are also outlined in our report. Next slide, please, Enrique. And I need to go to my next slide. Peatone can pursue sustainable growth and stormwater management, flood mitigation as a way to counter the increased flooding activity that the village has seen. All new development can include green infrastructure elements with a particular attention to the west part of town. Wetland areas should be identified in all village plans and projects as they can be protected and utilized for temporary stormwater retention during heavy rainfall to help prevent flooding. Next slide, please. Next slide. I don't know if we're caught up yet.
Not yet, there we go.
Okay. In the short term, there we go. In short term, the village can collect information on existing flooding and explore the potential causes and investigate solutions. They can educate the impacted residents on what the residents can do to improve property drainage and mitigate flooding. In the long term, the village can encourage new development that integrates stormwater management into the site. Utilize stormwater best practices such as naturalized drainage and detention, permeable paving, rain gardens, green roofs, and use vegetation, soils, and other natural processes to reduce flooding. Rike, back to you.
All right. Thanks, Patty. So I want to discuss, the next step. So hopefully everyone was able to obtain a copy of the draft. It is still in draft form as we are finalizing it through our communications department. But what you have, what Amy was able to distribute to you all was the draft of the final report, which includes the existing conditions report, then a summary of the outreach that we did, and then the recommendations with some strategies that go with it. So, we were presenting to you all today as we finalize it and then hand it over back to Piatone as a final draft so that you can start utilizing it for implementation. As and as far as implementation goes, we have already identified even like some workshops. I know that the existing conditions report, the outreach summary was utilized as you are doing your streetscapes plan, and so it looks like we're already moving in motion, utilizing this report for future planning endeavors. So I'll stop there. One, because I'm out of time, and two, I want to see if there's any questions.
Any other board have questions for Enrique?
Where did you guys get your stormwater management information from?
The stormwater management is actually something that we've been working on at CMAP across the region. So we have a team actually that is working on water mitigation and flooding. So yeah, that's where we get a lot of the information that we have.
Okay, so it wasn't from the stakeholders and it wasn't from the steering committee or anything like that. It was mostly you guys.
Yeah, that was the research that we did, and then it did come up during one of the steering committee meetings where it was talked about that there was flooding and there had been a survey sent out to the community about flooding, so it was flagged for us, and then that's when we compared the data that we had found and noticed that there was a need there to talk about it.
Okay. And then one other question, when you were analyzing the retail space that's available, what's the difference between available and vacant?
So there's two types, right? The vacant is usually what you see storefronts that are just been kind of left unattended. That's when it starts to become as the term vacant. And then just unutilized is those businesses that have closed and that have not, reopened.
Okay. So a vacant storefront needs to be rehabbed before it could be habitable again?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and we used CoStar data for analyzing the retail space. So we barely scratched the surface when it came to a market analysis, mostly because that's a full-blown task that we were not able to do. So we did scratch the surface a little bit there and pulled a little bit of data, and that's how we identified the space that was available.
Okay. Anything else, Pat, or anybody else?
Nope, I'm good, thanks.
Okay. Doesn't look like any more questions, Enrique. So we're looking for a motion to pass this, yeah?
You have to feel ready.
So I guess my question leading here, what if we approve this motion, what are we holding ourselves to? I mean,
Yeah, that's
Yeah, so as part of the IGA was to, for you to utilize it however you can. This report is basically designed for, if you're applying for future funding, there's a analysis portion to that has already been done. You can pull the data from there, the language. So really what you're committing to is utilizing this report to help you with any future planning endeavors.
Is this the draft, did he say, or is this the actual plan? Like,
It's a draft still.
okay, that's what I thought.
Right, how do revisions to the draft go on then, Enrique? If we approve this tonight, do we have to approve revisions, or how does that work?
So as far as revisions go, we had already sent this out to the village administrator, the mayor, and the steering committee for any edits or comments. At this point, the only revisions that are happening is not to the language, it's actually just to the aesthetics of the report at this point.
Okay. Well, I'll leave it to the board. If there's a motion, we could move forward with approval.
Promotion of
Motion from trustee Marevka. Is there a second on the floor? I'm not hearing a second.
And it dies.
So in here, we don't have to reject it, do we?
No,
Yeah.
no, there's no rejection. I, of course, don't know what the issue might be. In terms of approving it, I think you're concerned about approving what the conclusions are, or binding the village to anything that is in that report. So perhaps it's just the manner of the motion. I don't know what Enrique is saying we need the approved report for. I'm unaware of that. If we need it for anything,
Does CMAP require us to approve this, Enrique?
Yeah, what we were looking for is just an adoption, really, that you would use this document however you feel it could benefit any planning endeavors that come out of this. So remember, this isn't a plan. So the recommendations that we're making are it's part of a report of the findings that we found.
So this is Patty here as well. And what I would like to add to that is, oftentimes when communities apply for grant funding, and I think Amy, even with your most recent experience, the grant will ask you, the grant application will ask you, is this part of an approved plan? Is this part of a plan? Please show how the project that you want funded has already been planned and incorporated into a plan. So even though this is a priority report, oftentimes grant applications will accept this type of priority report as a plan that gives a little bit more strength to a grant application.
let me suggest another motion that might be more acceptable to everybody, okay? And that would be a motion to accept the Peatone Priorities Plan Report for utilization as may be appropriate.
So we're really not committed to anything.
We're just accepting the report. It's in other words, the motion is to accept the Peatone Priorities, got no glasses tonight, I forgot them, plan report for utilization as appropriate. Okay, so we're accepting it, they gave it to us, and we're just accepting it, and then we'll utilize it as appropriate.
Is there a time frame involved in this?
I don't think so. I mean, obviously, at some point, the report would become stale, but other than that, I can't think of any time. Why
And these
not?
are just their recommendations.
Right,
Well, it's recommendations also based on the
Right,
the input they
facts
got
and,
from the
yeah,
surveys.
input.
But it's not anything we have to do. It's
Yeah, we're
just-
not,
it's
we're
just
not
giving us
essentially
ideas of
approving
what
it, we're
they're
accepting it.
saying.
Right.
Yeah.
And if we wanted to do something that deviated from their recommendations.
That would be okay.
That
You
would be
would
okay,
not
too.
have to have a problem. Well, you would not be bound by the recommendations in that report.
So really
As
the
long
bottom,
as you state, as it's stated in that motion that you just said, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's just to accept.
bottom line is this makes it maybe easier to get a grant by.
Possibly,
By
yeah.
referencing this.
Right.
Yes. Okay, so that motion as I worded it was to accept the Peatone Priorities Plan report for utilization as appropriate.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by trustee March.
Maravka?
Or Maravka. Second by trustee Sluse, for the motion described by the attorney.
I think Donna you got my
I got
motion.
it.
I'll put it to you.
Good.
Marevka?
Yes.
Sluse?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Ham?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Okay, that was a tough one.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone. It has been an honor and a pleasure working with you, and we'll stay in touch.
Thank you so
Very
much.
good.
Thank you, goodbye.
Bye.
All right. I think the whole technical difficulties made it very confusing too. So next on the agenda is our resolution for the social media policy. That was in the details that were in your packet. We went over this in prior meeting, right? Like the social media policy?
No, I think that one's kind of new
Oh,
to
it
you,
is new.
and it's quite robust, but, so it hasn't gone through a committee, but, staff has reviewed it, it's been on my to-do list for quite some time, and so I wanted to bring it to the board as a whole for consideration. It just gives us a guideline going forward as staff and elected officials and employees utilize, the website and social media, that we have a framework under which to operate. So, I'll just read the purpose, if that's okay.
Sure.
And then, won't read anymore, cause there's just way too much. The purpose of this chapter in the policies established herein is to provide guidelines for the operation, maintenance, and utilization of the village's website as a form of governmental speech, and to describe its purpose and use by the village, as well as to implement policies and regulations relative to the establishment and use by the village of Peatone of various social media sites on behalf of the village. The chapters herein are the mission statement, the purpose, the general policy, the comment policy, website administration, website content and content restrictions, website utilization categories. So, I won't go
Okay.
into a whole lot of detail, but, you know, this will help us also just kind of maintain, you know, kind of have a consistent brand and manage content and make sure we're complying with local, state, and federal regulations.
Okay. Any questions for the administrator on this resolution?
So this is a new policy and not a revision of an existing policy?
Correct. The police department has their own social media policy,
Mhm.
very specific to, you know, what that department does.
Right.
But we have never had a village-wide website social media policy, so we needed to take a look at that and get that put in place. That police department policy will remain, this will be village-wide though.
Okay. Has the attorney reviewed it?
He has.
I did review it. Amy sent it to me some time ago. I will say this, and I commented to her on this. It's quite extensive. I went through it, made some changes to make sure that I felt that it would cause no harm. I'll put it at that. I'll leave it at that. Beyond that, you know, I didn't go into everything. It's a long policy, it's a little bit complicated, and I mentioned that to her. But I did review it, and I did make some recommended changes, and I'm assuming
All his recommended changes are in this document.
so that I was comfortable that it would not harm you in any way.
Harm the village, you mean?
Yeah, right. So that would not cause any harm to the village or, you know, create any major problem. You know, beyond that, the wisdom of the various provisions and all those things, that's more up to you guys than up to Amy. I mean, it looked reasonable.
So, I mean, there's an option to, you know, we could send it back to committee if you want to, and review it at that level, but
Any other discussion on that?
I think if the attorney's reviewed it, it's good with him. I don't think there's any benefit going back to a committee.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we approve it.
Okay.
Second.
There's been a motion to approve by trustee Bowden, second by trustee Joe. Resolution 21 dash, is it R01? Got it?
Bowden.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Maravka.
Yes.
Sluse.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Ham.
Yes.
That's everything.
Okay, got that taken care of. Item F, license and permit renewals. The first section is our liquor license renewals. We had a list of those in your packet. Are we gonna go through these one at a time? Is that?
Yes, or you have to eliminate the one.
Okay.
Either way, we'll be all right.
So, I guess we're upon review of the liquor commissioner, we're going to leave one for further review, so,
Which one would that be, Amy?
this one.
Peatone Bowl? Okay. Peatone Bowl, that's a Class A. So the motion could be to approve them all as listed in item number 1, with the exception of Peatone Bowl Class A. You can do it that way if you wish. Save a little time.
so we're looking for a motion for approval of these liquor license listed, with the exception of the Peatone Bowl for.
So we had reduced the payment. Is that already incorporated in these numbers?
It should be, I mean,
It
Donna
is?
sent them the resolution
great.
along with their application.
I'll motion that then.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the applications from trustee Bowden, and second from trustee Sluse.
Bowden.
Yes.
Sluse.
Yes.
Maravka.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Ham.
Yes. Okay. The next item under license and permits is O&M license and renewals for the following businesses: Fire Pit, Bar and Grill, Game On, Peatone American Legion, Peatone Bowl, and Will County Fair Association. Okay, so I guess we're going to table the Peatone Bowl for further review, so strike that from the motion. O&M licenses for Fire Pit, Bar and Grill, Game On, Peatone American Legion, and the Will County Fair Association.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion on the floor is from trustee Maravka, second by trustee Sluse.
Maravka.
Yes.
Sluse.
Yes.
Jones.
Yep.
Parker,
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Bowden.
Yes.
Item number 3 is a commercial amplifier. I think these are year-round amplifier permits for 3 businesses. Fire Pit Bar and Grill, Peatone American Legion, Will County Fair Association. Is there a motion to approve these amplifier permits?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by trustee Sluse, second by trustee Maravka.
Sluse.
Yes.
Maravka.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Bowden.
Yes.
Okay, and the final item, number 4, and the permit renewals is tobacco. Looks like there's 5 businesses listed. Burkott's Superfoods, Casey's General Store, Max Circle K, RC Services, and the Peatone Tobacco and Liquor. A motion on the floor to approve these 5 businesses for tobacco.
Second.
Motion by trustee Maravka, second by trustee Sluse to approve the tobacco.
Maravka,
Yes.
Sluse.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Bowden.
Yes.
Okay. So that completes item F on our agenda here. Moving on to item G is a discussion on potential annexations in the village of Peatone.
So I'm just looking for a staff direction from the board, if you still wanted me to continue with the annexations of the parcels that are surrounded in the village that we have previously discussed. I can point them out, but I don't, if you want me to re-familiarize you all with them, but you know, based on some of the input we've had from public, I just wanted to affirm my direction as staff. It takes consultant time, attorney time, and
Notice,
yeah,
published notice.
yeah. So I just wanna make sure that I'm still going in the right direction for you and not assume that I am.
Is there still, sorry, is there still a way to like annex without annexing everything? Like, can we look at certain businesses and all that, but then some of the residential properties would be left out? I mean, or do we have to annex a whole area at one time?
It's gotta
No.
be contiguous. It can't be
Can't be
one
like
here,
blocked.
one there.
No, I know that, but like if it was like in a blocked area, instead of, if we were talking about the Corning housing, it's houses all down Corning, but the beginning, like by Route 50, that's where all the businesses are. You wouldn't have to go all the way down Corning and get all those houses just because the businesses in front on 50.
Those are all in.
Yeah, they're all in.
Those are all in.
Okay.
Without the map, I mean, if you go down to Corning, you've got some properties on Corning that go out, you know, we'll take it from the west, you know, back to the east. There are, I believe, 5 different parcels. 4 of them are contiguous and together. And then there's one larger parcel, the 5th next to it. Those parcels are currently totally surrounded by the village. In other words, we have the village boundary on all sides. So that's what we call a forced annexation under, you know, the code that allows us to annex property when it's totally surrounded by, you know, our village boundaries. Now, we don't have to. That I believe they are, I can't remember, Troy might remember, are those parcels there, are they under different ownership? I think they are, as far as
Yeah.
the taxpayers go. I mean, we can, because they're totally surrounded anyway, we can annex as many of them, or 1 or 2 of them, or all of them. It would be okay to separate them. They'll still be totally surrounded, or essentially contiguous. So we could. I can say I don't see why it makes a lot of sense to pull out any particular lot in that stretch. There's a stretch of parcels there, I think 4, as I recollect.
Maybe that map is accurate, correct? The white, that's what
Yep.
we're considering?
Yeah, the
Which
white.
also includes the Peatone storage, which is the
Right,
Yeah,
the
where's,
large white
right,
portion.
right.
let me see. Yeah, right here.
Those are the residential, where he's pointing.
This is it.
With Corning being the southern border, basically, of how we surround, which we own and we maintain and plow
Yeah,
and take
this
care of.
Corning is in the village.
Yeah.
So we
So-
have it here.
And then just,
Then there's this parcel,
which is one house that
one house,
wanted a permit, called the village and wanted a building permit, and I had to send them to the county.
and then there's the parcel here. So the parcels that we're talking, and this parcel.
Yeah,
Right.
with the business on it.
So we're looking at these, and like I said, it's one, I can't tell by the lines, but I think there's 4 owners there. I'm not sure.
Where is the storage?
It's where that
Yeah.
big A is above the red, where the
It's
red,
in the middle, like
Mhm.
at the top.
yeah, right in the middle. Mhm. So they'd all be subject to county codes.
But we don't selectively plow that street. We don't stop and then
No,
No.
drive down and
no.
plow the
We,
rest
we,
of it.
we plowed all the way
all
to
the way down.
Ridgeland.
And when we do tree and branch pickup,
Yeah.
we pick up the whole street. And when when the chief gets a call in that area, he doesn't say, oh, sorry, I can't come here. I mean,
I
they're
don't
effectively
know
in,
how the county handles that, but I'm sure that the county probably, would rather him handle it
so they're effectively in the village. They're just not paying taxes to the village.
effectively.
Okay.
Not necessarily, because all them houses have their own well and septics, and the county does come out for calls out there, they have been out there. And it's actually 7 properties, it's not just 4.
Okay, I didn't recall exactly.
So if you got annexed, the Peatone Police would come out instead of Will County
Right, but
Police,
I'm
so.
fine with Will County coming out, like I say, that's not really a benefit
Yeah.
to me. Like I said, it's just gonna, my taxes and fees and everything's gonna go up. I mean, we moved there specifically because it was unincorporated, like I mentioned, those were unincorporated way before any of those subdivisions were in there, so.
What other
Understood.
fees are associated with that?
Well, all the stickers for vehicles, animal stickers, then like, I hear people asking to get married on their own properties. I mean, that would be options for us too. Now I'm gonna have to ask for permission to use my own property in certain ways, which we've never had,
It has their own water and sewer system. I don't understand how it would benefit the people on that street.
I think the grander benefit comes back to the village too, of those houses using the same, rights and privileges as other residents, like the plowing and things like that.
Yeah, I understand that.
I mean, I would support further pursuit of the annexation.
This all came out of the ALC committee when we were trying to close the budget. We discovered that the storage place, which is a business, hasn't paid, isn't part of the village, so they don't have to pay the village fees. And so the question became, what else is there? And what else is there is all the properties we've just named. And again, the whole conversation was not just to pick on these folks, it was
Right.
to close the village budget. And, those service, the money for those services are still being spent. It just means you're paying them and I'm paying them and they're not. So
I'm okay with the storage unit.
Yeah. I don't think it's ethical to pick and choose property pins. Right? It leaves a lot of questions. I know for one, the property by my home on the west side, it's a farm field, but it's a very poor farm field. It's been for sale forever. It's really village, in the village. It's just not currently annexed, and it should be.
So,
Another option that would be possible is there's something called a pre-annexation agreement where the village and residents, since like I said, a lot of those people are aging, could say, we'll do an agreement that if you ever sell this property, it becomes Peaton's property. That way the people that were there have a chance to live their lives out, and the next homeowner is part of the village. And
is that true?
Well, a pre-annexation agreement can work when you're not currently contiguous and you're within the 1.5 miles. They're already contiguous and already surrounded. So I don't think that mechanism is,
it can work, it's just, like I said, it's an option. It does, you don't have to utilize that, I'm just suggesting that as an option.
well, the pre-annexation, if there was a pre-annexation agreement, that would be another document that would have to be drafted, signed by the village and signed, just as you did another one. And they're somewhat, well, they don't have to be real complicated, but you're talking about, well, what are the provisions going to be? And if it's a pre-annexation, then until it's annexed, nothing happens. I mean, there's two reasons for annexing it. Well, the first one is, once it's annexed, it'll pay village tax. The only increased tax will be the village tax. They're already paying the taxes to all the other governmental units that they are located within. Okay, so it's just the village additional tax. The comment with regard to using the property, for example, the amplifier permit, that's an amplifier permit, it's not permission to get married on your property. Of course you can do that. It's the use of the amplifier that you heard, that because it blasts out to other people, that's why the permit's required for that. I really don't believe we have too much else that is restrictive, that would be there. I mean, we're not changing the use of your property. I assume we have a water and sewer line there too.
Well, the water line's coming right down the road.
Right down the road.
Yeah.
So
I think-
why wouldn't you connect our water and sewer?
same reason, so now I can pay extra fees for that.
Oh, okay, but you still have to maintain your well and your septic.
Absolutely, but like I said, that's what we've spent that money for, putting it
Okay,
in the first place.
no, I understand, but generally speaking, usually the provided water and sewer would be, more beneficial than running off septic and well.
Yeah, if it was a new build, yep.
Yeah,
Right.
just mentioning it
Right.
because you would have that option now
Right.
to do that. And if anything went wrong with your septic or your water, you can connect.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, any more discussion, and is there any consensus either way?
I'm good with you moving forward.
I couldn't hear what you said.
I'm good with Amy moving forward.
Me too.
I am as well.
So the consensus is move forward?
Yeah, it sounds like the majority is to move forward as discussed prior.
For the people that are here, I might as well mention it, you're going to get a notice. I think you probably already did on one occasion, but it'll be a new notice that the issue will be brought before the board at a particular time. At that time, the ordinances to annex will be ready, but you have the opportunity to come in again and address the board on the issue of the annexation and, raise the issue again, and then at that point, the board would make a final decision by either voting yes or no on the ordinances that would annex.
Well, it sounds like their minds are made up, so.
Well, I'm not gonna debate that, they obviously wanna go forward with it, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. You can certainly have the opportunity to come in and say it again, and see what the board has to say at that point. It's not done yet, it's not finally done yet, I wanted to let you know that, so that you know you will have that opportunity.
appreciate you coming in and speaking your mind. Next on our agenda is item H. Chamber of Commerce requests to waive village fees on a 2-day liquor license and amplifier permit for a block party on June 18th and 19th.
And that was already approved some meetings ago,
Okay,
but nobody made the motion to waive any fees. So now they're requesting the liquor fees and the amplifier fees.
well, I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve?
We did this last year too, right?
Yes.
I'll second.
Motion by trustee Jones, second by trustee Maravka.
Jones,
Yes.
Marevka,
Yes.
Sluse,
Abstain.
Parker,
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
and Bowden.
No.
Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 yes.
Okay, motion carries. Good. Okay. Next, item I, we're going to go into executive session to discuss collective negotiation matters pending or imminent litigation in the purchase or lease of real property for the use of public body. So I'm looking for a motion to go in executive session.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by trustee Maravka, second by trustee Sluse.
Marevka,
Yes.
Sluse.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Bowden.
Yes.
Okay.